you have the Rishonim on the Gemara, you have Rashi, you have Tosfos, you have the Ran, you have the boys in the back. And then from there, you get codified into halacha. So the Rif is the first one who begins to codify. Obviously, the one after the Rif of most significance is the Rambam. From the Rambam, we go to the Sefer Mitzvos Gedolos, and ultimately to the Tur Shulchan Aruch. That's before we get to the Shulchan Aruch, the Tur Shulchan Aruch. So here's the Tur Shulchan Aruch. Listen to what he says about the shear of Shehiyah. And he says, V'im shaha shiur Shehiyah. So we know that the Hashchita psula, im shaha shiur Shehiyah. That the Shechita is no good if you paused for the shear of Shehiyah. So the Gemara, so the Tur Shulchan Aruch is now going to ask, V'kama shiur Shehiyah. How much is the shiur Shehiyah? Now we know lahalacha just from what you read in the Simla Chadash. It's kosher, but I want to see how do we get from our Gemara that said take the knife to have it examined to the baki. How do we get from there, which could be like a few minutes, right, to kosher? So let's see. So how much is it? V'kama shiur Shehiyah kidei shchita acheres. Okay, what does the Tur Shulchan Aruch say? How much is the shear Shehiyah? Kidei shchita acheres. What does it mean?
The time it takes you to
the amount of time that it takes you to shecht another animal, right? That's a shehiyah. So if you're shechting a bird, the amount of time it would take you to shecht another bird, that would be the shear of shehiyah. If you're shechting a daka, so the amount of time that it would take you to shecht another daka, that would be the shah of shehiyah. V'chule v'chule, that would be the shear. Okay? Now, hold on a second.
But even that has a lot of...
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what he says. Upasak Rashi, Kidei shchitas behema gasa l'shehiyas gasa, ukidei shchitas behema daka l'shehiyas daka, ukidei of la'of. I know, just what we said, right? Rashi points out that the understanding of shehiyah is the amount of time it takes you to shecht another animal like the one that you're shechting. Okay. Then the Tur Shulchan Aruch continues. V'hach shchita, this amount of time, which is measured by a similar type of shchita, dimisha'arinan ba, that we use as a measurement, yesh omrim dahainu birabutza ve'omedes lishchot. What are we talking about? We're talking about a behema that is rebutza ve'omedes lishchot. So here's the story. If I put a bird in a box for you, right, and I start the watch and say, okay, shech that bird, how long is it going to take?
3 minutes.
No.
3 minutes?
You have to get it out of the box.
3 minutes.
Just the shechting itself is
No. How long is it going to take
That's why
from the
it's
time
it could be seconds.
right from the time
You could just go like this and
from the time
into seconds.
right from the time I start. In other words, from the time I start the clock, the bird's in the box, chicken's in the box. From the time I start the clock until the time you've cut rov simanim,
20 seconds.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
15 seconds.
Then if I give him 5 seconds.
okay, all right,
15 seconds.
okay, 15
15
seconds.
15
Let's say 30 seconds. Okay, let's say 30 seconds. Okay,
Long time.
how long is it if the bird is already bent backwards and the neck is already so that's it. So we said shehiyah is the amount of time that it takes you to shecht another animal, like bird for a bird, daka for a daka, gasa for a gasa. Okay. However, Yesh Omrim, writes the Shulchan Aruch, that's when the animal is birabutza ve'omedes lishchot. In other words, rabutza means tied up, right? Set up, and omedes lishchot.
It's on the shechting.
In other words, you go from, right? you turn to shech the bird. Somebody holding the bird perfectly already,
That's what they do in the
right?
That's the shender.
You
It's not
right. You go to do
It's
that.
a music stand.
How long does that take?
second.
A second.
Seconds.
They just
Not even-
Seconds, right? Literally seconds. So if we say, so already now the shear of Shehiyah is getting smaller. In other words, we begin by saying the shear of Shehiyah is the amount of time that it takes you to shecht a similar kind of behema. But then there's a Yesh Omrim that wants to narrow that down to say, not the amount of time that it takes you to shecht another behema where you have to go
And
get it ready, but it's rebutza v'omedes. It's like,
Literally the
please shecht me. So how long does that act of shechita take?
Seconds.
So now we're down to,
2-3
right now we've gone from 30 seconds
2 or 3.
to maybe 5 seconds.
No, I think less. I mean,
Probably less. I don't even think that. I don't even think that
You have
DACA
the
takes.
1, 2, 3.
3's too much. 2 seconds.
2 seconds is too much.
2 seconds.
All right. Okay, so we've gone from 30 seconds to 2 seconds. All right, 30 seconds. So you see how the shear of Shehiyah is really shrinking based on our understanding of how. In other words, this is the Torah Shulchan Aruch, right? So we're not done yet. Okay, so he says, "She'ein misha'arin ela b'chidei chatichas hasimanim levad." In other words, what's the measure of Shehiyah?
Only the amount of time to
Right? Not even the amount of time that it takes to do the
skin.
Right, not the skin, the amount of time it takes just to shech the simanim. So we've gone now from 30 seconds to half a second? Half a second? Right, half a second? Okay. So now in other words, you see,
For a bird.
okay, so for
Could take
DACA,
longer for a cow.
I
okay,
don't know.
so
Do you remember what was the fellow's name?
We did the
Rabbi Ashkenazi.
Robert
Yes.
did the bird pretty fast.
The one who
No,
did
the really, really
the one who
The
did
deer.
the
The
deer.
deer, Rabbi
In
Ashkenazi.
the farm.
Rabbi
It's like whoop.
Yeah. But that's not normal.
Remember
right?
fighting with the butcher?
That's abnormal. I think
okay.
You
So,
still have about a second.
all right, so that's one opinion the Torah Shulchan Aruch brings down. That's one opinion. And then, V'yesh Omrim, a second opinion, Shem Misha'arin b'chidei sheyag bihena, that we measure the time based on how long it takes you to pick up the bird, V'yar bitzena, and to get it ready,
So there you
right?
go. 15
And to get it ready, Vayishchatena. Right, v'yishcha, and then shech. So we have two yeshomrim, two way. Everybody agrees that the shear is, because the Gemara says this. The shear is kidei shchita acheres. Right, that comes from the Gemara. The shear is kidei shchita acheres. But the question is, how do you define shchita acheres? You can define shchita acheres in 2 ways. Way number 1 is you can define shchita acheres by simply saying the amount of time, everything's ready, right? Everything's ready, the neck is all set, boom. Half a second? All right, maybe a DACA is a second. Maybe a GASA is 2 seconds.
Right.
All right? And there's a Yesh Omrim that goes on the other way that says, how long is the Shehiyah? How long it takes you to pick up the animal and get it ready.
Really long shahir.
Sharpen your knife.
Now that could
That's
be,
a really long shahir.
that's a long shahiyah. So imagine how long of a shahiyah that is if we're talking about a gasa.
Because now you have to flip, you got to get it into
Yeah,
the it's
right,
about several
right.
minutes.
So if we're talking about a bird and we're talking about Rabbi Ben Chaim, so maybe we're talking about, I don't know, for him to pick up a bird and shecht
Yeah,
it,
it's 15 seconds max.
10 seconds maybe, all right? But even Rabbi Ben Chaim, right, Rabbi Ben Chaim, you put Rabbi Ben Chaim and a cow in a room, okay? I mean, we know who's going to win, right? We know who's walking out of the room, right? We know who's walking out of the room, and we know who's being carried out of the room, but it's still going to take him time to get the animal's got to be knocked down, right?
very long shape.
Right, the animal's got to be knocked down, then rolled over, so to speak, and you got to climb, position yourself on top of it, and boom. So that's going to be maybe a couple of minutes. So you see where you have a very big divergence of opinion now in how long a shehiyah is. We've gone from what the Gemara says, Kedei Shchita Acheres, which when you first read it, Kedei Shchita Acheres, that makes, Now you dig a little bit underneath the
But it would make
surface,
sense
sorry.
that They wouldn't expect the shahid to be that long. It makes more sense. It's like how long it actually takes to.
Whoa, listen to what the Tur Shulchan Aruch says. Says the Tur Shulchan Aruch about this second opinion, V'chein Ikar. This is really this is the right one. Right? Not the okay, here's the neck, boom, I'm done, but pick up the bird,
You
get
could
the
literally have a pause on killing a behemoth, that it would start even healing itself by the time you get the cow ready.
Well, I mean, so
I'm being serious.
well,
Right?
listen, this is but
that's
you're absolutely right, but I want you to hear where it's coming from.
You need to
Rabbi
continue to
Loki
keep
did say, he said that when they knew about when this was done, they said the ability to prepare the animal was just
Much faster.
much faster. He said it was much faster than we thought. Like it's slower than we would do. Today we wouldn't do it that way. We wouldn't.
They just grabbed the horn.
They
and
just grabbed the
did it.
horn.
They didn't
right.
worry
They
about
just they
flipping
went for it.
it.
They didn't flip it. They didn't set it.
Right,
They
right.
did it.
So
But still,
right,
it was a blown point.
right. So this is a much longer. If we go by this second Yesh Omri, which the Tur Shulchan Aruch says is v'chein ikar, we're now talking about a much longer shehiyah than kol shehu, right?
Right.
Okay, so
That's
let's see.
much longer.
So how do we get from this to kol shehu, which is the halacha? How do we get there? So the Tur Shulchan Aruch continues. Okay, umihu. Listen. Ein misharin b'chidei shechitas kol hasimanim, ela l'kidei shechitas rov, shehu hechsher shchita. In other words,
That's what it says.
Right.
He says, how do we, for a chicken, it's just one of the simanim. And even for a behema, he says it's only, rove of the
But it's still lifting and restraining, right?
correct. But in other words, even in the lifting and restraining, he's chopping the time down.
Right, but it's the significant time is the lifting and restraining. It's not so much
The actual act of
the rove.
Yeah, that
Rove
doesn't
to
take
full.
long on any animal.
Okay, hold on a second. We're not done. V'chein kasuv harambam. Right, this is what the Rambam writes. So certainly for Sfardim, follow the Rambam. V'chein kasuv harambam. Elo shechilek ba'of. The Rambam disagrees when it comes to oaf. Shekosav bidaka kidei hagba'a v'harbatza ushchitas daka ubegasa kidei hagba'a v'harbatza ushchitas gasa uba'of kidei shiyag biha behema daka v'yishchot. In other words, what does the Rambam say? So the Rambam is a little bit more lenient when it comes to. In other words, according to the Rambam, there's really only two shiurim of shehiyah. One is the amount of time it takes to shech the behema daka, and one is the amount of time it takes to shech the behema gasa. So if we're talking about a behema gasa, right? If we're talking about a behema gasa, so the shear is gasa. If we're talking about a behema daka, the shear is daka. But what about if we're talking about an oaf? So says the Rambam, the shear is daka, behema daka. So already the Rambam is a little bit longer in his shrita, right? In his shrita. Now, why is it mistaber to say there's only two shiurim of shrita? There's shrita gasa and there's shrita behema. What do what do daka and gasa have in common that oaf doesn't have?
two simanim. You have to do rove of both.
Rove of both simanim, right? So it almost shchitas oaf is an aberration, right? Because what do you have to do by oaf?
Only one.
You only have to do one siman. By a behema, whether it's a daka or a gasa, you have to do rove of both simanim. So what the Rambam is saying is, if we're going to talk about shchita, and we're going to talk about a shear of shchita, so let's talk about shchita in the big leagues, not the aberration of oaf. Let's talk about shchita in the big leagues, which is the only other shchita that we know is a shchita of rov simanim.
But is the Rambam saying that the shield for the daka applies to the oath?
Yeah.
Exactly what he's saying.
Was.
Exactly what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying.
Okay.
Like I said, that's to me.
You can find it's gonna heal.
No, but I want wait. Instead of what I want you to see
Then you
here.
actually be shechting an injured animal.
Okay, what I want you to see is the divergence. Okay,
But did he poskin that?
that's what the Rambam said,
He actually poskin.
right? And Sfardim throughout the generations follow this Rambam, right? So I just want you to see how you could how you where the divergence is. In other words,
You could go to the
Peacock.
bathroom, come back.
right? In other words,
Take a peacock. Bring it in.
right? We start from Kidei Shchita Acheres. That's what the Gemara says. And now, Kidei Shchita Acheres, we've already gone from over here, one opinion saying like nothing, like half a second, to over here saying it's the time of Shchitas Behema Daka, even for an oath. And the time that it takes to get the animal ready. So I mean, it's a pelagic thing because you can literally, right? You could imagine how long a minute is in shchita of an oath.
I mean, I can't imagine.
Like-
I honestly,
We just said we could do one oath every half second.
It's
One
an
chicken every half second to give a whole minute.
it's an amazing thing.
crazy.
But I just want you to see. I want you to. The whole point of this is to understand lahalacha how it develops. In other words, yeah, the Gemara says kidei shchita acheres, but kidei shchita acheres can go from over here to over here.
No, the Torah kind of agrees.
So the Torah, what the Torah does, the Torah is the Beis Yosef,
Okay.
right? And he's bringing down, he's an aggregator, right? He's bringing in all of these opinions. He then will codify these opinions in the Shulchan Aruch.
Right, it's a mixture of.
Right? So the Torah gives you the broader picture. The Shulchan Aruch gives you the
Decision.
decision.
Just said what-
And I want you to see how we go from this to the decision. Okay, so hang on. Okay, so do I need to do anything else to this? Let's say here. Ulof misharin kidei shchitas. Hold on a second. Oh, listen to this. So the Rambam said of of kidei shiagbia behema daka v'yishchot. Ula Rav Alfas. Who's the Rav Alfas? The Rif. Right, the Rif. Afilu lidaka ula of misha'arinan kidei shechitas gasa v'hagba'asa v'harbatzasa.
That's even longer.
Okay, so the Rambam said we have two measurements, a daka and a gasa. We don't have an oaf measurement. You want to know what shehiyah is in an oaf? Go to the daka. Okay, the Rif Rav Alfas comes along and says we only have one measurement. And what's that measurement?
The big
That's the real behemoth. That's the gasa. We have one measurement, the gasa. How long is shehiyah? It's the amount of time it takes you to get the gasa ready and to shecht it. So now, and that applies even to an oaf, says Rabbi Ilfas, says the Rif. So you could literally, you could literally start the shechita on an oaf, have a conversation with your mother on the phone, and finish the shechita. And according to the Rav Ilfas, it won't have been the shechita of,
It won't be a shehiyah.
won't be
right? Well, it won't be a shehiyah of the shear of shechitas gasa. It's a pelagic kind of thing, right?
Wow.
Okay. Now again, I don't want you to get freaked out. This is not the halacha lemaisa. We'll see the halacha lemaisa in a minute.
I'm just
Okay.
interested because by definition, shehiyah is pausing, and it doesn't seem like there's any pausing whatsoever. I mean,
Well, there is a pause because you haven't finished. In other words,
But the
let's go by an oath, okay? Let's go by an oath. We're enlarging this for illustrative purposes, all right? I gotta cut this much, right? I gotta cut this much. Can you see this, right?
Yeah.
I gotta cut this much. Let's say I cut this much. And then I'm like, hi mom, how's it going? How's the weather? How's everything in Florida? Blah, 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 blah.
Like this
Right?
whenever-
And then boom, I finish cutting that. Right? According
you
to
couldn't even pause that long with a bird and it wouldn't move.
according to the way
Drusa.
you don't
right?
trust
You
it.
know, all
According
kinds
to
of
the
other
way,
problems, I mean.
no, I understand, right? I don't, let's. This is an exercise in theory,
Hypothetical.
right? To see how we get to where we get to. But I just want you to see it's not so easy. Kidei shchita acheres, which is right. You see the Simla Chadash. It says kidei shchita acheres, and then where does it go from there? Okay, today we're not so bucky, so we're anything. But there's like a long discussion between Kidei Shchita Acheres and And this. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Ella shekasav afal gav de misharinan kidei shchitas gasa ledaka ulaov. I'm sorry. Afal gav de misharin kidei shchitas gasa v'hagba'asa v'harbatzasa. Hainu davka lebehema aval laov lo misharinan ela kidei shchitas behema lechuda. The lo mistaber kulei hai l'shayir behagba v'harbatza behem. Okay, so now he says different. He's bringing out different opinions. Okay, so you see basically where we're going. Let me get you to the Shulchan Aruch. Let's see if I can do that now.
You want
it? Well, now I know where it is because stop. Okay, so let's go to the Shulchan Aruch. Okay, so we're in the Shulchan Aruch. We're in Yeridea. Zach is going to tell us we're in Simin Chav Gimel.
We are in Simin Chav Gimel.
All right, Simin Chav Gimel. Okay, here we go. Okay, Dine Shehia B'Shchita. This is the Shulchan Aruch. All right, so listen to what he writes. Okay, so he starts with our Gemara that we learned called Tabach she'eno yodei hilcho shchita asur le'echom mishchitaso ve'elohein shehia dras achalada hagrama ve'ikor. Okay, shehia ketzad. It's the Shulchan Aruch. This is the Mechaber, right? Shehia ketzad. Harei shehischil lishchot. You began to shecht. V'higbia yado kodem sheyigmor hashchita. What did you do?
You lifted your hand.
You took your hand away. Why is that necessary? Why is it necessary to say that?
Drasa. Otherwise, you're probably still cutting.
Drasa. No, because worry about drasa, right? Because what's the animal going to do?
Buck up.
Animal's going to move. So if the animal moves, we worry about drasa. So the Mechaber deals with it right away. He says, you start the cut, then you take your knife away. Right? Take your knife away. Hold your knife up in the air. All right, so you don't have to worry about drasa. Then listen to this. Okay, Vishaha, Bain b'shogeg, Bain b'mezid, Bain b'ones, Bain b'ratzon. Doesn't matter why. Ubahu o acher v'gamar hashchita. Now either you or another person finished the shchita. Imshaha kedei sheyagbiha behema v'yarbitzena v'yishchot rov hasimanim shu hechsher shchita so psula. What does the Mechaber say?
Lift and restrain.
How much time? As much time as it takes you.
For somebody else to come and take the animal.
No, not for somebody else, or even for you. To lift and restrain and shecht. Another, Kideshi yagbiha ha-behema, v'yarbitzena, v'yishchot rov hasimanim. That's how long it is. Hayasa behema daka, if you were shechting a behema daka, shiur shehiyasa kideshi yagbiha behema daka, v'yarbitzena v'yishchot. V'im hayasa gasa, kideshi yagbiha behema gasa v'yarbitzena v'yishchot. Okay, so far, like the Rambam. Not unusual, the Mechaber. Who is the Mechaber's posek, right? The Mechaber follows the Rambam. Now, uba'of, kidei sheyagbiha behema daka v'yarbitzena v'yishchot. What does he say? What is the shear by the oaf?
Like a daka.
Like a daka. This is like the Rambam. Like the Rambam. The Mechaber writes lahalacha like the Rambam. Like the Rambam. Okay.
Okay, now the Ramah comes in.
Okay. All right, now, all right.
Where in the Gemara is the Chilchot Shchita? On what page is that? We were looking at that. We stepped on it.
We just did it. We just did it. Tes Amud Aleph, right?
Yeah.
Was it Amud Aleph?
Or Ches Amud Beis. No, it's right here, Tes Amud Aleph. Tes Amud Aleph, 9A1.
Okay.
9A1. Okay.
Well,
V'yesh omrim. Okay. V'yesh omrim, the shir shehiyas of. This is still the Mechaber talking. V'yesh omrim, right? And there are those who say, the shir shehiyas of kidei shchitas rov siman echad ba'of b'li hagba v'harbatza. Right? Like, in other words, what does he
One
say?
more time, V'yesh omrim, there are people who
V'yesh
say,
omrim, there are those who say, the shir shehiyas of kidei shchitas rov siman echad ba'of b'li hagba v'harbatza.
so
Cutting
he's
one
already
siman?
introducing the possibility of a
He's
much narrower
introducing
time.
Rashi's possibility, which is like that, okay? And then he writes, Ulefi divrehem, according to this opinion, since this is an opinion, right? In other words, we said Kidei Shchita Acheres. We don't know what that means. That could mean Shchitas Behema Daka Ladaka, Gasa Lagasa, get it ready. Or it could mean
Just the amount of time.
just the amount of time it takes to shecht rov simanim by a behema, or
Rov
even
one siman.
rov of one siman by an oaf. Listen to what he says now, lahalacha. Ulefi divrehem yesh lezahir kishehischil lishchot ba'of v'chatach ma'at ad shehadam yotze v'higbia sakino mehatzavar shelo yigmor hashchita lefi sheyesh lachush shema shachat mashu mehaveshet va'afil. Right. So what is he saying here?
Right.
That if you shechted an oaf and you saw blood and you lifted up your knife, it's puzzle. It's puzzle. Why?
So you might have touched.
Because you might have shechted part of the veshet. You certainly cut something because you're seeing blood. But you might have, since the oaf, right, the veshet lies so close to the surface, especially the way we manipulate it, chances are good that you've already cut into the veshet. And if you've started the cut into the veshet, how long of a time of shahiyah do you have? According to the most stringent opinion, garnished. Nothing. Right? As long as it would take you to shecht rov of the... So if you just lift up your knife, the shchita is no good. The shchita is no good.
Rambam would have no problem with that.
But the Rambam would have no problem with it, but the Mechaber is saying because there is a yesh omri, because there is an opinion that says it is so fast that the minute you lift up your knife and the minute you see dam and lift up your knife, shchita's puzzle already. Shchita's puzzle. If you started to cut and didn't see any dam and lifted up your knife, okay, then maybe have something to talk about. But short of that, the minute you see dam, you lift up your knife, the shchita is psula. Okay. So you see what the Mechaber is saying, right? The Mechaber goes, he brings the Rambam, brings the more lenient opinions, and then he says, because there's a Yesh Omrim back here who says the shear of Shehiyah is Kidei Shchitas Rov Siman Echad Ba'of, which is already prepared for you, which is, as we said, half a second maybe. The minute you lift up your knife, you're finished. Once there's dam, you lift up your knife, the shchita is psula.
Also interesting that they don't say the kona, they say the veshet. For that one.
You can always with a veshet you can't test. With a kone you can test if you had to.
Why couldn't you test with the veshet also?
I don't know. I forgot what the rule was, but there's no. We
Well,
don't.
he said we're not good at that
We're
either.
We're not good at that,
We're
but
not good at that.
you could cut in another place.
Where you can
right?
cut another place, but we can only test.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's keep going here, guys. Okay. Ve'afilu lo higbia sakino ela ma'at. Yesh lachush. You have to worry. Mipnei shehiyas ha'of mu'etes ma'od. De kidei shchitas rov simen echad ba'of hu na'asem maher. Like, as we said, half a second maybe. Va'afilu amar hashochet. And even if the shochet says, Bari li shelo chatachti ki'im ha'or. In other words, what did he say? He said, I know all I did was cut the skin. I didn't touch the siman. I just cut the skin. Nevertheless, even if he says that, ein somchin alav kevan sheyatza hadam. We don't rely on him. Once there's dam, The process has begun. The clock has started. And if you lift up your knife, finished. Okay. Okay. Ein sochin alav kevan shiyatz adam ve'im ba lish'ol acher shehigbiya sakinu ketzad yaseh omrim lo sheyishchot hakana levado b'makom acher ve'achar kach ya. In other words,
This is what
right? What is so here? There is a way to check. What's the way to check?
you just shecht somewhere else.
You
and
shecht
go back
somewhere
and
else.
Check to see
Right.
if
And now you check to see if in the lower spot there was a cut into the kana,
there was,
into the veshes, right? If there was,
then you can't.
No good.
then the animal is right. So that's because you can check the veshet, you can't check the kana, right?
I think you can check.
You should be
You
able to
check
check
the
both.
color.
I think the problem is halachically it's just really about the veshet in the bird that it would be considered
Okay.
a problem.
Okay,
That causes
so
it
that's
to be a tray feed.
so that's one way of doing it. That's one way.
Because the vegetable causes it to be a tray.
Right,
Kind of-
right. This is one way of, in other words, let's say you're Lamaisa, you only got one chicken in town. Right? You only have one chicken. It's not like, today, you want a shecht, okay, I got 1 million chickens, right? So we only have one chicken. And the pressure's on Jared to shecht, right? And he gets it chokes a little bit. This is a purely hypothetical question, right? Purely hypothetical. Chokes a little bit, picks up the knife, and says, I only cut the oar. I'm sure I didn't cut the simon. I only cut the oar. So what do we say to him? We say, okay, let's shech the oaf in a different place.
Give me your knife.
Let's pop the simanim
Step away from the bird.
and let's step away from the bird. Right, let's pop the simanim and see if underneath, right, lower down, there was a cut. If there was a cut, the shechita is psul. If there was no cut, then you were right. All you did was cut the or, and there's no problem. Right? That's an interesting lamaisa thing. Okay. Okay. Listen to what the Ramah says. What does the Ramah say?
And there's no issue, of course.
Okay, says the Ramah, "V'haminhag pashut b'medinos elu." Right, that the minhag has spread. Right, the minhag has in our community, says the Ramah. The Inyan has spread.
You don't love it.
Lahatrif kol shehiyah. Right, lahatrif kol shehiyah. Any shehiyah afilu mashu. We invalidate the shechita. Bein ba'of, bein ba'of, bein bebehema,
He's a big guy.
v'ein lishanos.
Shouldn't change
Right?
it.
V'ein lishanos. V'ein lishanos. But this is the Ramah. I don't know. Somebody asked Rabbi Loiki, right? Or maybe ask Rabbi Ben Chaim, I don't know. If by a behema daka, you lifted up the knife, is the shechita definitely psula? By an Ashkenazi? By an Ashkenazi, no question. By an Ashkenazi, you lift up that knife, by a behema, even by a daka, shechita's finished. Because like the Ramah says,
No,
I
I don't
don't
think
so, 'cause
so.
when we were
Because
shechting-
when we were shechting,
Remember
for you,
And then
he
goes,
said you
"Keep
have
on going, keep on
Because
going."
for you, it was.
But even
more
Rabbi
than-
Loiki said during, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, during that time I thought he said the Ashkenazis have less for a behema, but we still have a short period of time.
all right, but it seems that the Ramah says that what is the shear? He says, afilu mashu, bein ba'of, bein bebehema, v'ein lishanos.
That's what Simcha Chadasha says too.
Right?
Simcha Chadasha says there's no room for boss.
And then he goes on and he says like this. V'im nimsa la'achar shchita gumi o kayotze bo munach beveshes o bekana v'nishchat imo trefa. In other words, let's say that you found afterwards when you checked, right? When you checked, you popped the simon and you checked afterwards. What did you find?
Grass or grain?
There's something on the
Hard
veshes,
grain.
right? So it's a shchita psula. Why?
Because you could have paused while you were cutting
Because you
through the thing.
it clearly took you a fraction of a second longer to cut
Right.
because of that, whatever was in the way, whatever obstacle it was. Okay.
That was for a bird, though.
Yeah.
I thought
Birds
that
that-
was
birds that
very
happen.
specific to
It happens with
birds.
chickens because of the
Okay.
the corn and grain, all that stuff gets caught in there.
Okay. Okay. That's so. Okay. Habi sheiya b'mashu utreifa. So this is the siman of the Shulchan Aruch. So you see, we went from, what did the Gemara say? Kedei shchita acheres. Kedei shchita behema
But
acheres.
where did it really go?
So they took the V'yesh Omrim and Yesh Omrim, and they took the most
Stringent.
So according to
Well,
the
Ramban did, Ramban.
what the Ramah did,
But the Rambam and anyone who follows Rambam would still be able to have those long pauses for.
correct, but we don't just paskin like the Rambam. We paskin like the Mechaber. In other words, even if I'm a Sfardi, even if I'm a Rambam guy, even if I walk around with a turban,
You have to be Yemi.
right? I still paskin like the Mechaber, not like the Rambam.
But
And the Mechaber-
also said the same way as the Rambam.
And then he added V'yesh Omrim, and we should worry about that V'yesh Omrim. So in other words, according to the Mechaber, there's more time for a Sfardi,
Yeah, see, that's what the problem.
but not as much time as the Rambam said,
This is fascinating.
right? Not as much time as the Rambam said, right? But Simon's right. If you're a Ramanik, you're an Ashkenazi guy. So we went from Kedei Shchita Behema Acheres, which could be interpreted as grab the animal, flip it over, get it ready, shecht rov of the two simanim, which could be, I don't know, ich weiß nicht, how long? 2 minutes, a minute, I don't know. We've gone from there, we've gone from there,
You're that cool.
right, we've gone from there to Mashahu. To Mashahu. The minute you see Dam, it's done. You can't stop it all.
So obviously,
You could stop before Dam. In other words,
But
you know,
so
a new
how
guy,
do you-
right? A new guy gets nervous, right?
That means
And
you
he,
didn't
and he,
start at all.
right? And he,
20 minutes into a chicken and a
yeah, okay.
Yeah, just take some 20 minutes to take it out of the box.
Even the Rambam, we're dealing with we're dealing with the Isser Doraita. So even his opinion
Is the right to them.
was considering
It's not Doraita.
that it's a Doraita.
So according to the Sal
he's
Chadasha,
being more machmir
Well, that's why.
because it's a Doraita issue.
the Rambam is being, you're saying the Rambam or the Mechaber?
No, I'm saying even the Rambam who's lenient is being strict because it's a Doraita issue.
yeah, but it's.
Why is he being
Exactly.
strict?
He would have been a lot more lenient if it was a Rabbanan issue.
Oh, we don't know. I mean, we don't know that. We're making
You
that
can
assumption.
find some- yeah.
We're making that assumption.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it pretty much fits. The goal of this, and if you didn't chop it, it's my fault, not yours. The goal of this was
see how we got
start with the phrase "Kedei shchita acheres," right, or "Kedei shchitas behema acheres." I don't remember exactly what the Gemara says. One of those phrases. Okay, start with that. How do you get from there to down here, lemaisa, what we do? And why is there such? So it goes like this.
This
It goes
is exactly what I wanted to do in the beginning.
Right,
I was
right. It goes from here out to here, back to here. That's exactly what it looks like. Right. If you were to map it out, that's exactly what it would look like. From here out to here, back to here, and that's the process of halacha. Right. That's exactly what we do. Okay. Stop here.
It also defines
Rabbi,
if the
there's
shki is at
also
the beginning of the